It's October 24th, 1942, and the Japanese are preparing an attack on Henderson Field. In hopes of retaking an airfield from the Americans, the Japanese used their mortars, grenades, and firepower to surprise the Americans. Specifically, 3,000 Japanese soldiers were attacking Sergeant Basilone's machine gun position. The Japanese were attacking human waves in relentless attacks with nothing more in their mind but to kill the enemy and take back that airfield. The amount of Japanese attacking was starting to overwhelm the Americans. Luckily for them, they had their machine guns. Unfortunately for the Americans, ammo doesn't last forever.
Got any ammo? No, sir!
It was then when Sergeant Basilone picked up a machine gun and ran through the jungle to retrieve ammo for his troopers. Along the way, however, he had to fight off hordes of Japanese soldiers. Basilone was determined to get ammo for his machine gun nest, despite being under heavy enemy fire. At one point, he even had to fight in close quarters combat to get there. Eventually, after running through the jungle, Basilone made it. He grabbed as much ammunition as he could and ran back to his machine gun nest.
There you go.
For 3 days without sleep, Basilone kept going between machine guns to resupply his troops while continuously holding back the enemy and being under fire. Those around him noticed Basilone going on these ammunition runs to resupply his troops and holding back the Japanese. Basilone repeatedly trekked through the jungle to resupply his troops, clear jams, and hold back the enemy. His actions heavily contributed to the annihilation of the Japanese forces, earning him the Medal of Honor. This picture right here is John Basilone, and this here is John Basilone in the game. Unlike other gold troop orders, Basilone's game model looks similar to him in real life. Basilone's class is also a machine gunner, which is also like real life. However, the real life John Basilone used an M1917 Browning machine gun, which unfortunately is not in the game, not even as a buildable. It's January 12th, 1945, and outside the Polish town of Buzenin, a team of sappers are assaulting a German bridge. They are facing heavy resistance, but luckily for the sappers, they have tank support. The Germans, lacking any anti-armor equipment, are surprised at this development. As the tank is covering, the sappers push up, determined to take the bridge. They suppress the Germans with as much lead as they can spit out. However, as they push up, the group leader, Private Stephan Lausy, discovers explosives at key areas of the bridge. If the Germans were to detonate it, it would prevent a Soviet advance. Private Lausy was under heavy fire as he worked to cut the wire. Eventually, it's cut. His action of cutting the burning wire allowed the Soviets to advance through the bridge, overwhelming the Germans and causing them to retreat. Eventually, the Soviets would find themselves fighting in the town of Basilone, leading to its liberation. This is Stephan in real life, and this is him in the game. In-game, Lausy is an engineer, which makes sense. Besides the facial hair, I can see the resemblance between the in-game model and his real-life look. June 9th, 1944, and the US Army is on the attack. The Allies are now advancing into France, which happens to include the small town of Guadalcanal. Within the assault, Staff Sergeant Walter D. Ellers is leading his squad towards a German strongpoint. Later in the assault, he found a German mortar group, so he mopped them up. Along with that, he would knock out multiple machine gun nests by himself. The Americans and Germans would clash throughout the day.
Jawohl, Herr Kommandant. Scheiße, mein Magazin ist leer. You're done. Advance on the enemy position. Let's go. Yes, sir.
The next day, however, the Germans sent reinforcements to Guadalcanal in response to the American attack. With the Germans increasing in number, the Americans were getting overwhelmed. Ellers would be soon ordered to retreat as the U.S. forces pushed too deep into German lines. And with German firepower and manpower mounted in number, he would have to make it hasty.
Get out of here now! Come on, guys! Come get me, guys! Come on, right here!
As the platoon was retreating, he covered their withdrawal with his weapon and moved positions in an attempt to divert the Germans' attention.
He's checking out! Get to cover now! I'm covered, guys!
At this point of time, he was wounded, but still managed to bring a wounded bar gunner to safety. After the withdrawal, Ellers returned with total disregard of his life to retrieve a BAR. His acts of leadership under intense circumstances, as well as his unyielding aggressiveness and bravery in battle, earned him the Medal of Honor. This is Ellers in real life, and this is Ellers in the game. Ellers in the game is an assaulter, which makes sense as he did a good job assaulting the Germans. The model in game bears a good resemblance to Ellers in real life. However, in the game, his name is Walter Emmers, not Ellers.